fans, exclusive live coverage of the PBA Tournament of Champions at Mohegan Sun is presented to you by Odor Eaters. Put Odor Eaters in, kick foot odor and wetness out. By Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. And by Bayer Aspirin. Take it for pain, take it for life. The Mohegan Sun Arena is jam-packed today. It's hosted many world-class events. Another one here this afternoon. Live coverage of the TOC here on ESPN. In round of 16, Ryan Shafer went up against Chris Barnes. Shafer would beat Barnes in 4 games and move on to the round of 8. That's where he met Parker Bone III, the MVP of the tour last year. He swept Parker right out of the round of 8 and advanced on to the finals. Patrick Healey Jr. started out the round of 16 against the Flying Finn Mika Koivuniemi. The two of them also went 4 games, with Healey advancing. Then a 5-game match with the legend Norm Duke. Won a couple of weeks ago on Long Island to earn a berth to the TOC. Patrick Healey won after being down 2 games to none with a big rally. Patrick is now joined by our Leslie Goodell.
Patrick Healey's first PBA telecast was in 1995. He was an amateur then. It was at this very same tournament, and he finished 3rd. It's been 7 years, but he is back. Does it feel like a long time coming for you?
Yes, absolutely. To first of all get an invitation to bowl the Tournament of Champions as an amateur, and then to make the TV show left quite an impression in my mind, and I most definitely wanted to get back here as a professional to prove that I do belong here.
Patrick, thank you. It's going to be interesting to see what happens today, because Patrick Healey might have a bit of an advantage. These lanes have all played very differently this week, but he has bowled 7 of his 12 games on lanes 3 and 4, the 2 lanes they'll be bowling on today. Dave?
Leslie, he told us last night how comfortable he'll be on the TV pair. We'll see if it plays out that way. On the line, $100,000, far and away the most on the PBA Tour so far this year. 3rd place gets $10,000. Remember, during the regular TV shows, including the wild card, the 5th place would guarantee $9,000. So it's top heavy. All the big bucks go to the winner.
Really puts an emphasis on winning.
So now it's Healey Jr. getting set for his first ball. We have not seen him on TV in some time since he won in Kansas City back in October. How are his nerves, Randy, right now? First ball, TOC.
Well, he's got to be feeling a little bit. The first couple of shots on TV are always nerve-wracking.
Gets a nice break.
Exactly. Nothing like getting loose and catching a nice break. This ball's going to go Brooklyn. He's going to catch a nice break, tripping the 6th pin, 2nd from the left. You can just see by his facial expression, he's like, oh no.
Now it's Ryan Shafer. His last title, the year 2000, in Las Vegas, came on a 48-foot oil pattern. Gets a break as well. Late trip on his first ball, so he does well with the longer oil patterns.
That is a fair trade. Patrick Healey Jr. goes Brooklyn on the left lane. Ryan Shafer goes trip bucket on the right lane.
From Elmira, southern tier of New York State, about 4+ hours from here by car. Wife Michelle watching back home today. Pocket. On lane 3 for Shafer.
I think the most amazing thing when you watch bowling balls go down the lane on this oil pattern is how straight these power players' balls are actually traveling. That's because there's absolutely no friction. You know, when you oil 50 feet, that leaves yourself 10 feet of back end. That ball's hydroplaning by the time it gets down there. The move in the back end is very subtle. That's why we saw a carry that wasn't very good, strike percentages at an all-time low this week.
Back to Healey Jr. Pocket for him, and what a great start for each. On the TV pair, the arena setting, a major championship on the line. Tremendous pressure by the numbers this week. See the strike and spare conversion rate. He wants to increase certainly the strike number. Can he, or anyone for that matter, master the TV pair with the oil pattern the way it's been read?
Well, I think the guys that played the best this week were the guys that, when they got into trouble, managed to avoid leaving big, ugly splits. They made all of their spares. You're going to see all the guys in the telecast today have a very high spare percentage for this week. can't strike, got to make spares. The other thing is it all depended on how the lanes broke down.
TV lights different than what they've seen during the competition, starting with a round of 32. No qualifying for these great bowlers, including our Randy Peterson this week. Another strike for Healey Jr. It's live coverage of our first major of this season. 5 straight strikes to begin play in the semifinals. Shafer in search of a triple to even the match. 10-pin.
Boy, and just a real good shot. I don't know how many 10-pins I saw yesterday in the round of 16, the round of 8. There was a boatload. The match against Norm Duke and Patrick Healey Jr. Norm got a big dose of 10-pin-itis. Took a 2-0 lead, came back, Patrick Healey did, and swept the last 3.
Shafer has had a lot of major success. 3rd and 4 majors. And his spare ball with an appropriate sponsor does the job, gets the 10-pin. 2nd in the TOC a couple of years back to Jason Couch, one of our semifinalists.
Got to plug those sponsors.
There's his best finish in a major.
Kirk, I got something on the ball.
Kirk Von Kruger is the tournament director. Ryan conferring with him about the delay. We do have a shot clock, 25 seconds to get that shot off. So that's why he's buying a few extra seconds. Each shot is so critical. Believe us, the bowlers want to be sure the equipment, the layout is perfect. With ESPN in sync, we show you. That came right through the nose.
Ball goes right through the nose, leaving a 3-6-10, and the ideal way to make this spare is to cover all 3 pins with a bowling ball.
Perfect so far. Multi-pin conversions, trying to make it 5 for 5. Can he cover? Gets his mark. On lane 3. So back-to-back spares after a double to start for Shafer. Healey looking for a 4-bagger. A strike here. He's got a 24-pin lead. He told us last night how much he hopes the crowd gets behind him. He felt quite a bit of support, even taking on the legend Norm Duke in that exciting round of 8. They went all 5 games, had some support, really gave him some extra juice. Look out. Big 4.
And that was the other thing that I saw this week. A lot of is when you did make a bad shot, you almost always paid the full price, and this is what's going to happen. This ball goes right through the face, leaves the hockey player's teeth, or the big 4.
Just one open frame in that round of 8 classic we talked about against Duke last night.
You see that real low split conversion rate. That's because they all look like this.
Can't kick them over across the deck to try to get the 4-7. Just takes the 6-10 and our first open of the semifinal match. So after a triple, now things change dramatically for Patrick. Much different format for our bowlers. No qualifying. 2 9-game qualifiers. Best of 5 in the round of 32, and they got here. Big strike there from Healey Jr. Not nearly as much bowling. Randy, do you think it's easier on the players at this point to have not been through such a long grind?
Well, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. You know, you're glad that your body doesn't have to go through all the motions of bowling 40 games, 50 games, and when you include all the practice. But on the flip side, you know, when you bowl that many games, you really, really get acclimated to the surroundings, to the pattern, the lane conditions.
Shafer urges it right into the pocket with success. And speaking of the wear and tear, Ryan, every day he goes through a little rehab with his left hip and knee injury. So it's an incredible grind for these athletes on tour, so maybe a few less games could be helpful, make you feel more fresh for the TV final.
Right, and you know, when we asked Ryan there last night, he said the same thing. He said, well, yeah, in one way my body doesn't feel as bad, but the other, I didn't get as many games as I would have wanted to start feeling really comfortable, especially because the lane's being so difficult.
6th frame for him. Looks for a double with a strike, a 14-pin lead.
Hold it. Yeah.
7-pin goes down late.
Get over your 7-pin.
Ryan Shafer of Elmira, New York, talks the pin down and gets his strike for a double and a 14-pin lead. The semifinal is underway. $100,000 on the line. First place prize money from the TOC in Connecticut.